Afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So, how how is it going? The same question every day. Any progress?
Actually, Mats, I have a long question.
Oh my
Me
God.
and my invisible friends has been arguing all morning regarding these two tables. I mean, the EF Loggy doing a full CRUD was okay. There was one table, list all the IDs and take it away. But if you have the motor company and then you have cars and motorcycles, what's the way to approach it? Should you go to the motor company and can you then list all the cars and motorcycles? Or do you need to go to the table motorcycle and cars and list them to remove something, for example?
You can use both ways.
What's the best way?
Both ways are best.
Okay, thank you for a clear answer.
Yeah. No, because you could access, for example, the cars, you can access them directly from the cars table, or you could access them through the motor company. It's still the same cars.
Do you have an example, please?
Not really at this moment.
Okay, I have your number, so I can switch you.
Yeah, okay. What? Yes, I have it here now. See now. No, we can have a look at that afterwards. So I could put together something, maybe of some of the old projects we were having. I just prepared for this, making one simple application with the car and motorcycle without a company. So because I got some questions about how to do something simple, so I thought we could do that to repeat some things. So I'm going to share my screen. So I'm going to create a new empty project with Entity Framework. I already had this template we made the other day, so I'm going to use that one. So I get all the Entity Framework parts right away. We could do some naming here also. Vehicle menu, for example. State 25. Like that. Hopefully it's getting slower and slower, these things. I don't know if it's my computer or if it's something with the frameworks. Sometimes it's thinking a lot of. Okay, we have this empty project, or almost empty. So we're gonna start again. I'm gonna use motorcycle and cars, and we could have vehicle as a base also, just to repeat the things that we have been doing. So I create one class, call it vehicle, add some properties to it. I'm gonna use ID because I'm using Entity Framework. So I want to have one ID. And I just do random model this time, so small one. Brand. No, I was doing it the other way around. Doesn't matter. That was a good one. like that. So this is nothing strange about this. You know it. We add a constructor to this also. Generate constructor and not using the ID because the ID is generated at the database. So we have one class vehicle here. That could be enough just to add some car and motorcycles without having their own classes, but we're going to use the vehicle as a base for those. So I just create another class, call it car, and it inherits the vehicle. We have the properties from the vehicle now, so we just going to add a constructor also inside here. So we could create like a car. Was this the one? Yes, this is the one. You will see it's the constructor taking the input parameters and it's using the base, meaning it's using a vehicle. So we don't need to have these parts inside. So this is enough for it to work. We do the same with the motorcycle also. And base inherits the vehicle. But control dot. And we are done with that. So the same thing with as with the car, it's using the base for the constructor. So this is the base constructor. So I could have these things inside my car also, it wouldn't do anything. But because I'm inheriting the base, it's not necessary to have these lines. But this will also work. But I'm removing them because they are not needed. Like that. So we are almost done then. Now we need to use this data somehow. So I'm just going to name it not my cars this time. I'm going to call it my assets. So it's bringing it closer to what you are doing without doing the same thing. I will have a menu here, so show you this different CRUD options. So I'm just gonna do a menu here. Oh, sorry. That wasn't too good. Okay, why is it doing like that? So I'm just gonna use Entity Framework, not Entity Framework, Visual Studio to help me. Control dot generate method. And I could do the things inside here. So a lot of console write lines now. So do some space before, so we have it's beautiful. So this will be a lot of console write lines, just telling things what you could do. An option and another console write line. We could go for one, create asset, maybe some dots around here. So, no, it deleted all of them like that, and we're gonna do the other CRUD things. Or sometimes they say CRUD. but I think CRUD is much tougher. So we have create, we have read, we have update, and we have delete. So these are the CRUD things. And then we go and read what option the user is choosing. So I'm going to do a read key here. So I could tell that the console info, I think it is. I'm going to call it key. And this is equals to console. Console, where did the normal console go? Console read key. So this is just reading one key that is pressed. So I want to catch the 1, 2, 3, or 4. And depending on what the user is choosing, I'm going to do an if statement here. Checking if the key info key is equals to console key 1. Is what is the name of that one? It's D1, yes. If that is true, we do something. We're gonna do create assets. So I'm gonna create one method for that. But I'm also gonna clear the console at this moment, so it's refreshing the page. So it's fine if I clear. And I'm gonna do this create asset thing. So control dot for generating a method here. Go into this method, and in here we gotta do the necessary things to create a motorcycle or a car. So we end up with this, sorry, with this console write lines again. So this is, if I would say, the boring part with console applications. If you're going to present and read the data, it's a lot of console write lines. So you could, yeah, have to live with that. And if you are separating and making methods somewhere there deep under, you have a console write line somewhere. And I want to add, I'm going to add or ask the user add car or motorcycle. I will not do any advanced checks and error handlings and so on. I'm gonna leave that for you. So I'm gonna check if the user is choosing a car or motorcycle. So I'm gonna do a string input, call it type, for example. This is a console read line. At this case, I could rather start checking right away. I'm gonna make it easy for me, so I'm gonna read the brand and model at this case, this moment already. So, but if I would had like more error handling or validation, I wouldn't do it like this. Maybe add brand, and it would be brand. Now we have the other one would be add model. input model. So taking all the inputs right away. This I could do like a write instead of a line, so it's waiting for the input at the same line. And model is maybe just 1L. So this is taking care of the inputs, all the inputs for the creating the asset. So before we start to create it, we could have an if statement here. And remember that this is just what I'm typing together something. You could do it in so many different ways. So I'm just showing one way how it's possible to use. Is someone on the chat saying something? I haven't checked it yet. Restart computer. Yeah, I tried that. Yeah, I don't think it's helping. It's still slow. Are you recording this? I think Ömer started the recording before, so it should be running. So we continue. So checking if it's a C or M for car or motorcycle. So we check the input type. Making an easy check, just taking it to lower first. So and checking if it's a C. Then we do something. Otherwise, if it's we could check if it's an M also. If it's an M, we do something else. And otherwise, if we're typing something something that is not C or M, maybe we could repeat this question. So we could have that small check. Going back to the create asset. So the same menu we are in already. So if we are not typing C or M, we start over with these questions. And when done with this, we go back to the menu. So now we need to do something inside the C and the M part here. So if it's a car, we create a car object of this, telling that this is equals to a new car, and the constructor is asking for brand and model. So we actually have the input brand, and we have this input model. And when working with yeah, now we are so far, we have no entity framework yet. So we could do the same with the motorcycle also. Motorcycle, call it MC. And this is equals to new motorcycle. Like that. So this is creating an object with all the necessary data. So now we require to have some database connection. And you remember that we need to have like this this context, this DB context thing. So here, vehicle context, and it's inheriting from the DB context. That is part of the entity framework. It's just complaining we don't have the using of the entity framework in the top. We have the packages already, so that's not the problem. What? Or did I do something wrong here?
B should be in small letter.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Now maybe I get a better one. Yes. So now we have this vehicle context here, and this should have like this on configuring part. I'm going to copy from another project. It's the same that we have been using all the time now. So I'm just going to add some nice date here, 11/25. If anyone needs this now, I could add it in the chat. Otherwise, maybe you have it already in an old project. Anyone that needs it, that is following along.
Mats, I just have one question.
Yes.
Line 84 to line 91.
Yeah.
Exactly what does that do, if you will explain it basically?
This is DB context. This is the context that Entity Framework uses, and it makes it possible to connect to a database.
Okay, yeah, okay.
I'm creating an own context with help of this DB context.
So you can link up to the database?
Yes.
Okay,
And
yes,
this is just telling you where the database is located.
Okay, thank you.
So I'm gonna. I also need this DB set things for telling what tables to have in the database. So I'm gonna add DB set should be there somewhere, yes. And telling that the car, I'm gonna call it cars. That's the name of the table. And have this get set. I do the same with the motorcycles also. So these are the two tables that will end up in the database. I got this help from Joe. So now we are telling that we are using these tables inside the database also. And we have the connection string telling you what database server to have and what the database name should be. Oh, it disappeared here. So I'm pasting this into the chat if someone is coding along, so you would have it. Hadi is complaining about the demonstration, how bad it is. Yeah, would like to have the nice to have with relation as well. Yeah, we have been doing actually with relations. So this is just to refresh from the beginning a little bit. So this is why we are running this one. So we have this context here telling us what database to use and what tables to use. So now if we go back to our create asset here, we have this object. So we want to add this object to the context so it could save it to the database. So I will just a moment. We're going to need this DB context also. I'm going to, instead of having it typed inside every method, I'm going to say already in the using it in the complete. So it's accessible in the program class. So I will create one vehicle context here. It's named DB, and this is equals to a new vehicle context. This naming is not, see, I have an underscore before the name here. So this is often used when you are having some field or some members that are accessible from inside a complete class. So otherwise, if you would write it inside each specific method, I would write it without this underscore. So this underscore is like indicating that it's accessible everywhere inside the class. So this is like a recommendation. This is not a must to write it like this. So if I go back to this create asset here, so now I can access the I can access the database or the context right away with this DB. Oh, I could say cars and add. And I'm adding the car object. And finally, I need to do the save changes, so it's ending up in the database. So this is doing the cars, and we could do the same with the motorcycle also. I do just a copy paste here, so. And instead of cars, I add MC to the motorcycles. Like that. I'm also going to mention that it's possible to write it like this. I take the context and I go for add right away. And add MC. So these two lines are doing the same thing. So because this MC is of the type motorcycle, Entity Framework knows it already. I think this way is easier to understand. The other one is you need to know that it's MC is of that type or so on. So if yeah, that's a little bit of what you prefer to use. So both ways are possible. So this is creating data to the database. So this is the create part. Do we have any questions on this so far? Does everybody understand this? Yeah, I know how you are having some doing with the relations. So we have like to need to cover the basic, and also someone wants the more relational part. So Carl is asking, if you're adding several motorcycles, do you need to do a save changes for each, or can you call save changes when you added several? Yes, you could wait until you have done everything. So one save changes is enough. Victor is asking, the entity type requires primary key to be defined. What does it mean? So this is the ID is the primary key. We are not adding it to the object because Entity Framework is taking care of it for us. But on the database side, we have the ID, so we are just adding the other properties, and we will get one ID. So did you, Victor, get this like an error in some way regarding this? So if I like go to this vehicle, if I don't have this one when I try to create a database, you will see We haven't created anything yet, so I thought we could do it now before start saving. We just made a code. So if I do an add migration here, yeah, how this is telling that you could use add range also. Yeah, it works. So we're gonna do a migration here, add migration. I'm just gonna call it init, and you see I have no ID in the vehicle now. So I try this, and let's see what it's saying. It says the entity type car requires a primary key to be defined. So it says if you intended to use keyless entity type, call has no key on model creating. We are not there yet with the model creating thing. We are coming there next week. So it's possible to use without IDs, but it is preferred to have IDs. So this will be fixed by adding this line again. So if I try to do this add migration again, it will hopefully be successful. Yeah, no complaints. And we do the update database also. So now we have a database also. Did that answer your question, Victor? Firstly, by the base class. So this was, I think this was the thing that you were talking about. So now we have a database, so we could actually run this. And we should be able to create one asset. So I press number 1. We had the read key, so it's popping up right away here. Doing a C, add brand, Volvo, and 245 GL. And now it should be created. So we are back in the main menu. So Ayad is asking, can you explain simply what migration does in the code, please? Yes. So the migration is checking what classes you are having when you're working with the database. So we have decided that we have these tables should be in the database. So what Entity Framework does is with the migration, it's checking these classes and sees what is necessary to be done. And you will see on this init, if you check here, it's telling a lot of things to do, create table cars, creating table columns, and so on. So these are the things that are coming from the class. So you see it's adding an ID here and making it as an identity, and the identity is actually this that is counting up automatically. It's adding a brand and what type it is, and so on, and same with the model. And so it's keeping together what's necessary for creating the database. So each time you make any changes to your classes, you need to do the migration. So it's putting together everything that is needed to update the database with. So these migrations are only inside this folder, so it will not happen anything in the database until you run this update database. Then it's using this migration. So you always need to do these two things. So add migration and then update database. Was that an answer enough, Ayad? Is it enough to only write them one time? Yes, if you have done all your classes and are ready with those, it's enough to do this add migration once and update once. But as soon as you make any change to the classes, that you need to do the add migration again. So maybe you just decide that you want to have another property adding this inside this vehicle, for example, then you need to run this migration again. So you need to keep track on that. So where did we lose this thread? We had the create asset actually. So if we will, I am checking the time. We already spent 40 minutes about it. So so we could do this read also. So number 2. So if else if it's D2, D2 is the number 2 from the keyboard. So let me check here. We do a console clear and then we do a read asset. That method doesn't exist, so we're gonna let Visual Studio help us. So rename is not what I want to do. I want to generate a method. So you will find this help in many places popping up. So it could be on the left-hand side, and it could be when you go with the mouse over and so on. So, or just pressing the Control dot combination on you. You will also enter exit enter. End up in the same menu. Checking the chat, nothing new. So yeah, I wanted to read the assets now. Actually, I'm going to read many, so I'm going to that name. So this will be, I'm going to remove that line. So we're going to put together a list of cars and motorcycles. So I'm going to use the vehicles now, the base class. I could read it like separated also, but if you have them in the same list and you want to do some sorting and thing, it's easier. So I'm going to create a list of vehicles this time. And just call them vehicles. Vehicles, like that. And this is equals to a new list of vehicles. It's complaining about something again. Most likely the list. Show potential fixes. Using system collections generic. Yeah, that was the way. And now I want to add all my things that I have in the database to this list. I could do it like vehicles. That was a bad naming. And I could use this add a range that Hardy was also mentioning. So I add a lot of things to this list. Where are those things you are thinking? We don't have any things in no lists here. So we could access the database right away. We have the DB context here. We have like cars we could take and to list. Yeah, it was working right away. So what does this line do? It's reading everything from the cars and putting all these to a list, internal list. And we are using this list inside this add range. So we're reading everything from the database and putting them to the vehicles list. So we could do the same actually with the motorcycles also. So instead of cars, it would be motorcycles. This will read all the motorcycles from the database and add them to the same vehicles list. And because the cars and the motorcycles are in having the vehicle as a base, it's possible to do it like this. So the vehicles list will accept both the cars and motorcycles. What else? So I want to present this. Here comes the funny part with the console write line. Bring some space for it first. And we could do another console write line. Printing out these column headers and doing some pad write. Remember pad write, it was pretty useful. Print out all these columns. These columns, it should be possible also when get them out from the object. So you could have like code that is picking out every property from an object and printing them out also. That could be another lesson. Well, what I'm using here, type and brand and model, it's possible to get them from an object also. So adding some space for the type. We had the brand and the model, brand. And some pad right on that one also. Pad left, no pad right. And the final one is not needed for any pad right on that one. And add model. Something like that. Let's see if I ended this somehow. Maybe that's enough with parentheses. Yeah, I think so. And then we need to do a loop through all our vehicles. I'm gonna make some more space here so we can see it better. And you remember there were different kinds of looping, doing a for loop, doing a for each loop, doing a link for each. So there were many different ways to print them out. We could do it the link way now, using vehicles for each. Hope so, at least. No, I was writing. So sensitive. So this, I want to add all this, the data from inside the vehicles. I'm going to split it up so it's easier to read. So I will do it like this. Lambda expression where you remember when using link. And we could start with a console write line inside here. And this console write line could have the assets. So I have the ID. I'm going to print out the ID also. And I'm going to do a pad write. But you remember the pad write is just working on a string. And the ID is an integer, so I need to convert it to a string. And then I could do this pad write. And I'm using the same numbers as in the column header. Like that, and we could do the other things also. I also had type, you did see, and type was not part of any property. So I could get the type out of the class, or actually out of the object. Getting the type, and the get type is holding a lot of information, so it's many things that you could have from inside this. But I'm gonna use the name. So this is just printing out the name of the class. And doing a pad write on that one also. And did I have 12, I think? Yeah, it was 12. I will continue with the other properties also. We had this brand. We had the pad write on that one. It's so good this time. Obviously. And we have the final asset property. That is the model. So let's see how many parentheses I have here. Is enough to end it. I'm just gonna do it like this. Sometimes it's not easy to keep track of all the parentheses. Enough. No. Yeah, that seems to work. Yeah, that was the for each. That was the final one. There are some help to this highlighting when you are marking at the end parentheses. You will see the first also, so you could get some help to where to put it. So this is hopefully reading all the assets for us. So I was thinking when I was reading this, I'm going to call the menu afterwards, so we get to see the menu again. Yeah, we could try it. What could go wrong? Almost anything. So we have the create done. We have the read. Hopefully we have one car when I press 2. And you see we have one Volvo here. So, and the type here is coming from the class information, or actually we're going through the object, and the object has this car class as type. Do we have any questions so far? Create and read. Do you feel that you want to see update and delete also, or do you know the way now how to use it? Okay, we do the update and delete also. So we go back to this. We have this lines 45 to 50, 45 to 50. Yeah, actually 45 to 51. Yeah, so this first one is just making a column in the top, and the next lines here are printing out the data from the vehicles list. And the vehicles list really it's a mix of cars and motorcycles actually, but we are using this base class vehicle, so we could put them inside that type of a list. So We continue with the menu system here. So we do another else if here. And checking if it's the key 3. We're going to do update assets. Specific asset actually. We're going to create it with help of Visual Studio. Generate. We have the asset here. What is needed for the asset then? So we need to choose which item in the list to use to update. So we could print out all the assets with the read asset, so it's printing out everything. And then we could show the user the menu so he could select items. So this will actually be pretty much the same as the create. I like to steal things. Oh, no, I don't like to steal things. I like to copy things. So I was thinking maybe I could use a lot of information from this create. These are the same questions, pretty much. We start with that and see what it can do for us. So instead of add, we're going to update. Now we need also another question. We need to tell the user should tell what ID to use. So we need like one more information. No, I did the wrong thing here. So first of all, we are checking if it's a car or motorcycle we are doing. And then we're going to check select the ID. Select. Remember, this is also just one way to do it. There are many other ways, maybe better also you could use instead. I'm going to call this input ID. So I'm taking all the information at the one time. So even if the user is typing in another one that is not C or M, it will not be successful. So, but I'm not taking care about it now. So we're going to do an if statement here just to see what type first. Doing this if, maybe I could do some copy paste. Or input type, making it to lower. If this is equals to a car or the C, we do something. Otherwise, we do something else. Use the structure here, and if it's an M, it is a motorcycle. And if not any of them, these things, we just show this update asset again. So if the user is not typing in C or M, something is wrong. So we just keep asking again. And after everything is done, we're gonna go back to the menu. So showing the menu after that. We could also do this console clear. So have an empty page to start from when we are done. So what we need to do now is to take care of this input, if it's C or M first, and then update the car or the motorcycle. So we need to get this car object inside here that we want to update. So we want to have a car here to work with. And this car, where does it come from? Yes, from the database. And we go for cars. And there should be this, I can't remember if it was defined. If it was defined here, that could be useful. Yeah, I'm gonna try this. Otherwise, we're gonna do just a where statement for this. So we're gonna use this input ID. And this is a string, so we need to convert it to an integer. I'm not sure if this is working. We could try it. It's not complaining at least, so that could be great. So this is getting, we could actually run this and see if it's working so far. Otherwise, we're going to do a where statement. Yeah, we could try it. I want to have something here just to. I'm not going to use this line. I'm just adding a breakpoint here. Come on. Around now. Don't do this at home. I just want to have a breakpoint to see what this car object is. So I would run the code and stop at this line, and then I see if this is working actually. So let's try it. Build errors, thank you. Expected. Yeah, I was doing something wrong here. I'll try it again. So we are dealing with this update number 3. So it's giving me all the cars, update the car or motorcycle. I have one car, so I put C here. Select the ID, number 1. And I don't add any brand or model because I'm going to check if I get the object here. So this is reading from the database, and you see it's working. So I have a Volvo ID number 1 and the model also. So I just wanted to check that this find was working. So this find is getting this ID. So it's you see, I'm not telling like what property to look for, but this find is using that, so it will find it. So we're going to continue now. We know that this is working, this find. So I'm going to set the car brand. Now I'm just overwriting everything that is inside. You could, for example, if you are doing this update, maybe you could show the value that is actually a part of this, because you could read it from the database and present it to the user. And maybe have a question, do you want to update this property or not? Or just like pressing enter to continue without changing everything. So if you have a lot of properties, you don't need to, when you're doing update, you don't need to type in every property. But now I'm just reading this. I only have two properties that I'm using. So didn't I have an input brand? Yeah. So, and another one was the model. Input model. So I'm just setting new values here. We need to this to work in the database also. So we're gonna go for first update. We need the car object. And we need to do the save changes. Like that. So we do the same with the motorcycle also, just copy paste. Motorcycle. And we're going to go for the motorcycles. And we're going to use the MC object. Because we have the same, and the motorcycle here also. So this is the same code, just using the correct class and database table. So otherwise, it's the same code. Hopefully this will do the work. We just try it first. Number 3 update. It's reading from the database. That's why it's taking some time. And update the car. And select ID. I'm gonna select number 1. Add brand. I'm gonna tell it's a Saab, and it's 900T. Like that. So if we read it now with number 2, you see it's changed to the Saab instead. And do we have any questions on this part? 52? No, that was from the previous question. So we have the delete also to do. So we'll try that one also. Going back to our main menu here, and we have this final thing to do here. So I'm just going to copy this parts. And number 4, we're going to do delete. And with the help of Visual Studio, we're going to go for delete. So actually we could have in the end here, because if it's not any of our options, we could go back to the menu again. So it will end up here only if it's not any of these 1, 2, 3, or 4. Then it will end up in this position, and then we call the menu again, so it's showing the menu. So the delete asset then, what's needed for that one? We could actually copy a lot from this update and remove some parts. So I'm actually going to steal everything from the update. It's just a few changes, so. So this is not an update, this is a delete. And we're going to select an ID that we are going to delete, but we are not interested in the model and brand. So we're going to remove these lines. And we're not going to set anything. But we're going to read what's the correct object. And we're going to do, instead of update, we're going to do remove. And the same here, remove instead of update. And these are also wanting the object, the car object and the MC object. So the code is pretty much the same otherwise. And if it's not car or motorcycle, we will go for the delete again. So it's showing the same menu. And when done, going back to menu. So I'm not sure if I have two menus running, but it doesn't matter. So this should do the delete. So actually just telling if it's a motorcycle or a car and then selecting the ID. And we have the read assets in the top, so it's printing out all the data first before we start. So let's try this and see if it's working. I'm going to create one more car, so we have one, another one also. Well, let's go now. I'm going to do a read here just to check. You see we have two cars, so I'm going to delete one of the cars. So I will delete number. I'm going to delete the car and number 1. You see now when I do the read again, we only have the car with the ID 2 left here. So, do we have any questions on this? Anyone? Anything? Okay, Ayad is happy. So hopefully this will help you a little bit at least. This is not the complete asset tracking system with the prices and offices and dates and so on. So you could use parts of this actually. So it's the same thinking behind this. So any more questions? Nothing. Okay, I take that you understand everything. Is it so, Lenny? You always say something about it.
Sorry. Sorry, dude. Yeah, I will look at the code and rerun your lecture a couple of times, and then maybe it pops up. Me or some of my invisible friends will pop up with a question.
It must be really hard to have invisible friends. Not seeing them.
It's quite good.
Okay, Hadi is asking, how would you file structure this? I would split it up, so having all the classes in own files. So you could use like Visual Studio to help you to do these quick actions and move to separate files. I'm keeping this together still because it's easy to put up in the Teams when you're sharing. So you just have one file that you could get if you want to run the code. But normally I would split it up so you have every class has its own file, and try to split up as much as possible. I try to have have methods as much as possible and try to have them short so they are not having too much code inside. So much of things that I did here could actually be split it up more, and you could be using common parts. Like you could do something around this input and the right console write lines and things. So you could make small pieces, small methods that are doing just a small thing that you are calling. So that's, I would split up as much as possible in separate files and split up as much as possible in own methods. And trying the methods to do just the specific small part. I'm not sure if that was an answer for your question. Do we have anything else? I'm having my day off tomorrow. I normally have one day off per week. So tomorrow I will not be working here. So you will be having Ernst and Dömer. You are not going to have any special lectures then, but you will be working with this mini project. So they could help you if you have questions. I try to finish until 3 o'clock tomorrow with this mini project. Any more questions? Otherwise, we see you on Monday at 9 o'clock, but remember that you are online tomorrow also.
Yes, sure. Thanks for today.
Okay, bye.
Yes,
Bye.
bye. Have a nice weekend. Thank you, Mats.